I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
All right, everybody, it is Thursday, and the hurricane is, swatting along the coast of Florida. I got to tell you, this idea of being a prepper is never meant more to me than it has since I got here. I didn't realize how unprepared people are, both physically and mentally, to handle awkward situations, difficult times, etc. I know that Florida, with all of the people who don't know shit about hurricanes, I know that's a problem for them, but how fucking hard is this? I mean, I used to get ready to be snowed in for a week, 2 weeks at a time, lose power for weeks at a time. It's no big fucking deal. You just do it. This is what I'm warning you folks. It's gonna bug the fuck out of you. You're gonna be angry as fuck when an emergency hits, and we don't even have an emergency. The panicking, the silliness, the I don't know what to do-ness, and then I think the bad things would follow that even. I really do. After a couple of days of no power, no food, no government, no protection, I see all kinds of stupid coming down the pike. Anyways, and speaking of, people taking things in their own hand, we need more of that. More of that. I've been watching videos, catching news over the last week of people who are stopping criminal behavior. They're stopping illegals from violating people. And in fact, I've got this story. In Wisconsin, the mayor said, "Hey, I did nothing wrong," after removing a ballot drop box that was outside City Hall. He took the matter into his own hands and he solved a problem. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's up to us. Now, I'm not saying do things illegal, unlawful. I'm not saying put yourself and others at risk. I'm not saying do things that are risky, dangerous, and harmful. I'm just saying we need to start thinking that way, taking it into our own hands, because the government is not doing it right. They aren't. We need to take our children's education into our own hands. It's not up to the government. It's not up to the county or the city. It's not up to the schools. It's up to us. And I think that is actually happening. And I've got an example of that. CNN went to a school and thought they would have some interviews with children. So the interviewer is sitting across from a young boy. So the lady says, "What's the first word that pops in your head when you hear Kamala Harris?" And the kid bluntly says, "Liar." Take your kids' education, take your own education into your own hands. All I do here is talk about what's happening, and I give the general recommendation: food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. We have got to be ready for what's coming. This whole idea that someone else is going to do it, we know that's not going to happen. The government is not here to help us. We're going to have to do it ourselves if we can survive the coming apocalyptic bullshit that just may strike us. The fear inside the White House, the fear inside the left-wing globalist groups, the fear inside politics, and all the way down to the grassroots, is that Kamala is going to lose, and lose bigly, badly, wildly lose. And the fear is that they're going to try and trigger Russia into committing a nuclear attack by firing their missiles. They've been threatening it for weeks and months even, to shoot long-range missiles into Russia. So I think what they've done is the same. Listen, this is the same exact thing they did at the beginning of the Ukraine war. At the beginning, they needed Putin to do something, antagonize the shit out of him. They said they're going to bring in NATO. They're going to put military bases there. They had the Azov battalion in Russian neighborhoods in eastern Ukraine, terrorizing and doing ethnic cleansing of Russians, ethnic Russians. even though they're in Ukraine, even though they're Ukraine citizens at that time, even though they're paying Ukraine fucking taxes, they're still going around killing them. And they pushed so hard, Putin finally said, fuck it, I'm going in. I'm going to denazify, his words, Eastern Ukraine. And now they've been pushing and pushing and pushing Putin, threatening him with missiles and drones that can strike deep in there. And they've even shot into Moscow, folks. But now he's saying, hey, you guys are going to trigger an atomic response because Russia, folks, get this, has announced a change to their nuclear weapons doctrine to be attacked. Either Russia, any Federation state, or their allies. They will defend them at all costs. That includes Belarus, folks. They may want this. Are you ready for what the response could be? It could be a couple of bombs here and there. It could be one shot into the middle of the ocean. Who knows? What we do know, folks, is shit is getting stupid. Are you prepared? I'll tell you what. It's Thursday. There's a hurricane rolling up into Florida. It is going to smash into land by the end of the day or in the middle of the night, if you will. And guess what's going to happen after that? It's going to roll up through Georgia, and it's just going to terrorize and tear apart everything. So get prepared everywhere. And speaking of being prepared, FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has a plan. Oh, by the way, questions down below for the second half of the show. And if I have to leave for any emergency reason, you'll know it. Because I'll just say something like, hey, I'm out of here. Click off in case something screwy happens up top. Now, FEMA has a plan. They've now chosen 4 National Football League stadiums as disaster shelters for weather events, pandemics, and, well, national emergencies, of course. I think they've got the one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got them all over the country, and they've got more. They're just passing them with more. Remember, they used the not the Pontiac Superdome, but the New Orleans, whatever the hell that one was called, that dome down there after Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina. They used it more like a fucking prison. So, hey, look, if you're worried about the future and you don't think you can take care of yourself, just move closer to a sporting stadium, whether it's basketball or football or baseball or even hockey. Just move closer so that you're right next to a FEMA camp. Hey, get this. Someone else can take care of your problems for you. It'll be a short train ride as long as you're close. And you know what? It could be a death venue, especially if it is a hockey arena. They'll keep you on ice, literally. Oh, man. Yeah, a train ride to your death venue. The federal government is gearing up, folks. They're making announcements. They're making plans. They are. They completely are. And, folks, Zelensky has come to America. Oh, we're so blessed. This little turd shows up after taking hundreds of billions of dollars, making demands. Remember when that little bastard said, if you don't give me money, your sons and daughters are going to have to fight Russia? Who the fuck is he talking to? Really, who is he? Who is Zelensky? Well, I can describe him in a short couple sentences. He is a flaming homosexual performer. Flaming, folks. He is short. He has no stature. He has arrested clergymen and shut down churches. He has arrested journalists and shut down the media. He has silenced people from criticizing his government. He has arrested people within his own government. How democratic is that? Certainly, there's nothing about Ukraine that is a republic. Zelensky is a fruity fascist puppet of the CIA, BlackRock, and the World Economic Forum. And President Trump this week is not going to meet with him, right? Zelensky, he won't even dress in nice clothing to come to America. He wears his little green sweaters and hoodies, trying to look like a man of the people. He's not. He's a fucking tyrant. The same way Zark Muckerberg of Facebook tries looking cool and hip in his hoodies. He is a screaming, fruity little tyrant. He's pretending he's a libertarian. He's hired Republicans for public image rebuilding while he continues. Remember last night I said we need people to try and start pro-Trump Facebook sites and see if they continue to get shut down or even denied. And the answer is completely 100% yes. You can have a Kamala Harris, a Twinkle Toes, Tampon Timmy Wall site, no problem. And the same goes for Coca-Cola, as if their program a couple years ago saying, be less white, as if that wasn't bad enough. They've had these custom Coke cans where you can put things that are, well, in support of Hamas and Hezbollah and the Palestinian PLO types, terrorists. You can have Harris and Kamala on your Coke cans made custom. Put on their Trump, denied. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Well, they're making headlines again. Coke is. Don't buy their shit. Don't drink their shit. Don't order their shit. Boycott them, ban them, and expose them for being what they are. Right? Trump is urging peace and diplomacy. Democrats are saying, give us more money for war. We're going to go send some bombs into Russia. Fuck them. That is so irresponsible. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. I mean, the folks, the left, the globalists, the deep state, they're going to do whatever they must do to defeat Trump and destroy our Constitution. And a nuclear war, I don't think they mind, as long as enough people get killed and they retain their power. I've had it with these fucking people. I really have. They've done nothing but hurt you and me. Literally. I mean, starting when I was a kid, they started putting fluoride in the water. Well, fluoride is understood to cause, well, a type of brain damage or just to interfere with mental processes, the ability to think and speak. Well, guess what? The National Institutes of Health is confirming that fluoride exposure is linked to lower IQ in children. I'm guessing Kamala Harris used to swallow it by the gallon because that's one dumb bitch. But my hope is if the National Institutes of Health is confirming that fluoride is linked to lower IQs, let's hope they kill this fluoridate the water bullshit once and for all. It does nothing for teeth. It does nothing. There was one study that was not done properly decades and decades ago. Natural occurring fluoride was in drinking water, and people in that town had better teeth. Maybe people in that town knew how to brush their fucking teeth and take care of themselves. So instead of using a natural fluoride product, they use a chemical, an industrial waste chemical, and put it in drinking water for people to drink. And they wonder why these fucking people are so stupid. No, actually, I think probably increase the dosage. I mean, they need people dumb enough to vote for Kamala. Don't you wonder how people could be so stupid, so ill-informed, and they're at? Yeah, there's something in the water all right. I got to catch my breath. I tell you, got to catch my breath. Eric Adams, mayor of New York. They unsealed his indictment today. He's been indicted. They're expecting him to be arrested tomorrow. Why even bother with this two-step shit? Put out the indictment, arrest him same day. Well, Apparently, the mayor of New York for the last decade has been accepting foreign bribes, taking money from foreigners, foreign governments, foreign agents. Does that sound familiar to you? Accepting foreign bribes, like maybe Hunter Biden. Well, that's not bad because, Joe, the big guy, got his 10%. Maybe Mayor Adams didn't give his 10% to Joe. And also, Mayor Adams has been criticizing Joe and Camel Toe Harris for all the trouble that they've caused New York City. Folks, but the reason I really want to talk about that again very, very quickly is I don't want anyone to forget all the Hunter Biden crimes. Shaking down Russia, shaking down China, shaking down businesses everywhere around the world. Shaking them down for money. It's incredible. It truly is, folks. There is no shame with any of these people. None at all. But the American people are catching on. Literally catching on. And despite all the fluoride in the water, people are waking up and they're making better decisions up here. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, the videos coming out of Arizona State University. I think it's ASU. At a college there. Hundreds and even thousands of students are registering as Republicans. They're lining up, folks, in huge lines to multiple tables to get registered. And guess what else they're doing? They're handing out Make America Great Again hats. A sea of red hats. College students are saying, you know what? We're tired of this shit. We're tired of being picked on. We're tired of being silent. We're tired of being tolerant. We're tired of sitting back and allowing everyone to scream and yell and threaten at us. So they're coming out to protect themselves and protest what's been done to them. Good. At this point, after decades of this left-wing horse shit, since the fucking hippies of the 60s, I think America's ready and due for a little McCarthyism. They even had a Chinese student, Chinese American. They fled communist China. And this student got on the microphone and warned everyone what communism does, which is socialism. Whether there's private control of industry and banking is in fascism, or government control 100%. It's all socialism. And socialism is a way to cause humanity to fail. Fail, fail, and fail again. Now, I want to thank Darcy T for shooting this message over to me. It is, once again, something from the Pfizer files. I want you to take a wild guess. Well, folks. Yes, somebody else has died. Somebody else has died. This time, it's another athlete, age 33. He was a wrestler. The guy's name was Alan Vera. He had a heart attack. Once again, an athlete, a super athlete, someone in the prime of life, being taken down by what? I mean, everything we see from the government, from the fluoride, from all of the VAX, they give to little children. They go to the hospital healthy, they come not quite right. And they spend the rest of their lives suffering from autism. No connection there, right? The Jim Jones juice, cerveza bug, right? Trying to make everyone accept complete homosexuals. The government's trying to do all they can, folks. They've got the mainstream media willing accomplices. Are you prepared for this to get off the hook? Stupid. Off the hook, stupid. We better be ready, folks. I think probably after the show tonight, I'm going to rearrange and organize my self-defense strategy right here in the bunker to make sure that I am more equipped, more readily equipped to deal with an emergency that could arise at the hatch or out in the street or down the block. Look, like if there's an emergency you can prepare for, like a coming storm, a hurricane, that's one thing. Some things are on us, like an earthquake or a tsunami. It's instant. Or it could be man-made, like riots or gun confiscation coming from Kamala Harris. And you're not going to have days. You won't even have hours. You could end up with just minutes or none at all. And you have to react to an emergency that happens right in front of your face. It's possible. It really is. It's possible. And I'm going to give you one more. I tell you what, man. No Jim Cantori impersonation on this storm. No water recreational vehicle. But I got to tell you, the people of Florida, the ones that are prepared, that live here, have lived here, and understand how to do this, they're doing what they do. One person I know said, look, I'm going to go sit on my back porch with sipping my coffee, watching the rain come down and the water splashing out of the intercoastal. Going to just sit there and watch cows will fly by, like they do in a tornado. Guy was okay. I saw a video of someone in a motorboat going down the street with a Trump flag. They're already flooded out. Folks, all up and down the coast, the storm surges up, but it's not deadly. It's not deadly, but they're prepared. One last thing on the Jim Jones juice. Apparently in Scotland, some children saved their mother's life. 38-year-old mom had a heart attack. Why? Why is that? I mean, I'm 54. Why don't I have a heart attack every day? How come I'm not dead? Why not? Right? Stress, difficult demands, hard weather to get through. How come I'm not dead? Could it be that I didn't take the Jim Jones juice? How many people have actually died from it? Just curious. Just a curious question. I don't know. I don't know what to focus on. There's so much to think about. What are you thinking? What is most important to you? I keep hearing that question in media and politics. The most important thing to men, I think, age 18 to 25, the most important thing to them is getting a good job. The most important thing to women, age 18 to 25, the most important political question isn't employment and jobs. It's getting an abortion. How is that? I don't fucking get it. I really don't. I do not get it. It comes down to intelligence. It really does. I tell you, it's there. Oh, by the way, this happened a couple of days ago. Did anyone catch this? Mark Robinson, the Republican, he's a black guy. He's in North Carolina. He wants to be governor. He made some comments, some alleged comments on and about a porn site, and so they want to yell at him for it. Right now, Democrats apparently have no problem attacking black Republicans. It's the child groomers, the drag queens, the pedophile Democrats. They're actually acting outraged about what Mark Robinson allegedly said about porn. They're attacking him while they're doing just that, being groomers of children, drag queens, fucking pedophiles. Right? Democrats, they're all liars, they're evil, they're sacks of pedophile excrement. None of what is happening out there right now is going to end well. Nothing is going to end well. I really hope you're ready for what's coming, because it's not going to end well. And even though Trump is in the lead, even though there's college kids, even kinder fucking gardeners, right? Kids in grade school are calling out Kamala Harris as a liar. The media is having a hard time covering up. There are actually anchors and news presenters in CNN who are questioning Kamala. It's not close to being over, folks. We haven't even hit October. October is next week. And then we're going to get an October surprise. That could be anything. Could be some nuclear bombs. Could be an assassination attempt on Trump again. And Barack Obama, his former Canadian ambassador, has gone public and revealed that a Zoom call was made between Hollywood celebrities and social media influencers to discuss and try and steal the 2024 election in a way that's not noticeable. And they've got these voting machines. I mean, can you imagine if you had a business and you had all of your checking accounts payable, accounts receivable, all the access to all your money and controls were online. And it was proven that the system you were using, the computer, was completely open to hacking and totally vulnerable. Would you leave your money in that business? Would you keep using that type of machine to keep track of everything for access? Of course not. But that's what they're doing with these voting machines. They know they're vulnerable. They've proven it on TV, in courtrooms, that these machines, and so, hey, they're going to find a way, folks. They're going to cheat. It ain't over. Even after the election, even after Trump is announced as the winner, even after that, it's not over. It's not going to be over. It's not going to be over, right? Washington, D.C. is preparing right now for a mass casualty event. That's part of what this FEMA thing is about. But they're actually pushing, right, to undermine election integrity and control the House in the event of a national crisis, right? A national crisis, right? Under the shadow of mass casualty, terror, war, political violence, right? Congress in Washington, that means the House and the Senate, they're looking at this. They're looking at saying, hey, governors can appoint new members to Congress. They're sidestepping the Democratic process. Once again, it's, folks, expect nothing but unconstitutional bullshit from Congress. That's it. I mean, it's coming. Oh, by the way, before we get to your questions, before we flip over to the other side and get your comments, questions, thoughts, predictions, observations, fears, wonderment, surprise, happiness, whatever it is, comment section is coming up next. And I want to finish my monologue by letting everyone know this. The son of Ryan Ruth, the assassin who got in a shootout with the Secret Service before he could take a shot at Trump. His son was arrested for, you got it, child pornography. Once again, big surprise. Hey, daddy's got blue hair. Daddy's running around working for the CIA, trying to recruit people to go fight in Ukraine for fascism. Yeah, his son is into child pornography. Surprise, surprise, and surprise, folks. I'm not surprised. These people are just absolute scum. Wow. No, I got one more item. Nope. I'm gonna get to you guys. I said I'd get to you, and I'm gonna stick to it. So let's do this. Let's go over to the inner circle for your opinions, thoughts, questions. Woo! Okay, Mr. Ooman, what do we got? Who is up next on the Prepared Mind channel? Who's up first? And it is Badass Diving Frog. And he says, I saw a mother confront an NGO member at her daughter's school. NGO is a non-government organization. Confront a member at her daughter's school after they pulled her out of class to register to vote. Then they proceeded to tell her how to vote. Yes, the mother was very pissed off, right? Because they were pressuring her daughter to do something. They were telling her what to believe, how to behave, how to think, telling her that the country needs Kamala Harris. Is that anything for the school to do? Is that anything for a look? When my kids were in school, I had to go to the office and tell the people in the office, go get my son. I need to speak with him. I need to leave. He has an appointment. I'm not allowed to go to school and start talking to students. I can't go in there and tell them, hey, send kids into me. I'm going to tell them to sign up or register to vote. And to top everything else off, Mr. Diving Frog, they're registering underage kids to vote. I'm sure they're telling them, it's okay, you'll be 18 someday. Just register to vote now. That way you're in the system so you can vote. You need to save America by voting for Kamala Harris. There is no end. There is no limit to the lying, cheating, and stealing that Democrats will do. There's no limit to it. Kamala Harris will lie her ass off. A kid in grade school knows it. Knows it. Just unfucking believable. Wow. Thank you for bringing that one up, Diving Frog. They're after our kids. The homosexuals said so years ago when they sang their fruity San Francisco anal sex song about they're here for the kids. And they were like, oh, no, we're making a joke. And 3 or 4 years later, what are they doing? Drag queens in school, anal sex books, pornography, pedophilia books in school. Oh, by the way, I can't remember exactly where it was. I caught this earlier. They had an election. They got enough school board members to have a majority. The first fucking thing they did was fire the superintendent, the principal. The first course of action was get rid of people that were a problem and start looking at the books that were being given to kids to get them out of the schools. This critical race theory, folks, is an abomination. This homosexual LGBTQ agenda is an abomination. And how do these fruitcakes within the LGB community, how do they answer the question on being a bi? I thought there's more than two. How can you be bi if there's 100 different genders? These fucking people. They argue and make no sense to themselves. But I noted that, I think back somewhere in 2017, I noted how the lesbians, the hardcore lesbians, that's the L, right? Lesbian, bi, gay, LGB. Where's that? Lesbian, gay, bi. Anyways, they hated trans. Men pretending to be women. Lesbians hated that. I don't know if they like it anymore now, but I did catch a video also in the last couple of days of a transgender fruitcake man who was bragging in video. And I think it made it into the libs of TikTok array, bragging about how he likes to go to lesbian bars to piss off the lesbians. They're not happy unless they're fighting with someone, folks, or making someone else's life miserable. In any event, here we are. Let's do it. Let's go to the next question. Hey, Mr. Uman, what do you think we got going on? And we got Heidi. That's what's going on. And she says they've now proved the existence of 3 different batches of the Jim Jones juice. The statistics are very different for each group. We've all heard about this for quite some time. Heidi, if you've got a particular article, I would like you to message that to me so I can see what it is exactly you have read. We've all suspected from the beginning that there's different companies and therefore different formulas with different purposes or test protocols. You see, they used everyone who was willing to take it as a guinea pig. They have batch numbers, geographic areas, wild stuff, completely wild. The graphene components, some of the mRNA components, all are up for debate and question. Well, actually, no, you have to be silent. You have to shut up. But yeah, the statistics, the results are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, Heidi says that was just one company. Just one company alone had 3 different batches. Now that I have not read or heard about. Once again, Heidi, I'm interested in seeing that. Just go ahead and shoot me a message. I'll check it out after the show. But yeah, we had Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and many other companies beside. Funny how they all had their own unique formula for something that just popped up. No. I seem to remember the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, and other, shall we say, anti-humans. They've been talking about pandemics for decades, population reduction, the need for government mandates and control over infectious disease. And there's this belief, and I want to remind everyone, there is zero provision within the United States and our Constitution, not a single provision for the government to suspend any portion of the Constitution because there is an emergency. There's nothing in here that says, well, this amendment is for, well, it's for everyone, unless there's an emergency. There is nothing in here that says the government has special emergency powers and that they may do whatever the fuck they want, make up whatever law they want. Executive orders, folks, the government's out of control, period. The government is out of control. Just, it's frustrating, folks, because it doesn't end and it doesn't change. They just keep coming at us, marching step by step. In fact, an FBI whistleblower gave a powerful warning to Congress as we get closer and closer and closer to the presidential election. And he delivered powerful recommendations to us, the American people. Prepping. Literal and FBI whistleblower said prepping. Food, water, defense. Now, this guy was treated like shit by the FBI. And that's why he's a whistleblower. Right? His name was Marcus Allen, and he wasn't the football player. And he met and talked to the House Judiciary Committee and let him know what he thought. Right? The weaponization of the federal government. That includes constitutional authority and the unconstitutional authority. The federal government is fully weaponized, whether it's the NIH and the CDC, or whether we're talking about the FBI and the CIA, or the IRS, or the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms, the ATF. They all, I mean, none of these agencies give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Not a one. Not a one. Mr. Ooman. Who's up next? What are we going to discuss? And it's our good friend Mikey G. And he says, Gil Bates had the Vax patent back in 2019 before the COVID. Before that, Gil Bates, meaning Bill Gates. Nice use of the codification there, the super secret stuff, right? Yeah, Bill Gates. Bill Gates, I don't believe, and folks, it doesn't matter, but I don't think he has a degree. He's not a doctor. He's not a lawyer. He's just a rich bastard who screwed his partners out of their shares in Microsoft, fucked them over, stole it. Kind of like Zark Zuckerberg. You know, they're not good people. And just because they're rich doesn't make them smart. I mean, take a look at Mark Cuban. A billionaire. The joke out today is, even billionaires can be retarded. That's how just absolutely abjectly stupid these people are. But yeah, Bill Gates. He had his vax all ready. They were completely ready for it. Completely ready to stick you in the arm. Name redacted says, hey, the Jim Jones juice is brought to you by the same government that gave smallpox infected kits to the Native Americans, the Indians. Oh, yeah. The federal government, the same federal government that went to Waco, Texas, and killed dozens of children and women because the Attorney General told America, we need to save the women and children. The children, we ought to do it for the children. And they ended up killing them all. They tortured them for days and weeks psychologically. They terrorized them with weapons. They played loud recordings of animals being tortured. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or recall. The sound of animals being tortured played over loudspeakers so that the Branch Davidians who were huddling and hiding inside of their compound, they didn't want them to sleep at night. That's all part of psychological warfare of the hardest, most callous sort, is to keep your enemy from sleeping, keep them awake, terrorizing them. Nobody could go in there and help them. Nobody could come out. They were pinned down by the federal government until they slaughtered them. Slaughtered them. The same government that went, I believe, to the Sioux Nation and slaughtered them after they turned their guns in. After they turned their guns in. The same government that claims it had nothing to do with the Oklahoma City bombing of the Murrah building, the same federal government that for some reason had nothing to do with 9/11. But in my opinion, they had everything to do with 9/11. Everything to do with it, folks. It's a mess. It's a giant, giant mess, right? The Jim Jones juice. Oh, hey, don't forget, Black America, that the federal government, the same federal government that claims they're going to help you out by putting you in, FEMA camps and emergency camps at football stadiums, basketball arenas, baseball stadiums, perfect high capacity concentration camp. They'll hold, folks, not on the field, just in the bleachers alone, anywhere from 20 to 60,000 people, plus the field. That's an awful lot of prisoners. Black people in Tuskegee, Mississippi, were experimented on by the federal government. That's right. The same Democrats that didn't want the blacks freed decided to experiment on them medically experimenting on giving them syphilis and other diseases to see what would happen, to see if their treatments worked. The federal government, folks, doesn't give a fuck. Right? Dr. Anthony Fauci, a.k.a. Dr. Mengele Fauci, right? That guy experimented on dogs, beagles, letting them be eaten alive by bugs, torturing them. That's how these people are. That's what they're all about. I don't have any doubts about it, folks. They would torture me and kill me slow if they had their opportunity. And speaking of just brought to you by the same government, interestingly, RFK Jr., he is being held and kept in his lane, if you will. Right? He's dealing with medicine and food, health, right? And he's bringing out to people's attention to not only the Jim Jones juice and other just over VAXing children. He's now talking about the food in the United States of America and that it's making us as a people sick. He's sounding the alarm. RFK Jr. is, and he's on the same side with Trump when it comes to the Democrats are bad, the government's bad. We need to fix the problem. You and I, we've got to fix things. The best way we can do it is sharing the internet address right up there at the top of the screen. Share it with people or hit the share button down below. Make sure you're a thumbs up subscriber, of course. But it is going to be nasty where this goes. If you think Hillary is bad now, wait till she loses 100% control of the deep state and this country. Wait until they start. And I pray to God daily that they arrest these criminals and traitors in D.C. All of them. They're little fruitcake, limp-wristed, skinny jeans wearing fruitcakes that all work as staffers. They're a bunch of sick fucks. And I'd like to see them all thrown in jail. All right. Hey, man, what's up next? What do we want to discuss? I know I've been just going on, and it is Uman himself. And he said the mainstream media is reporting that Trump's vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, his popularity is plummeting among Republicans. But in a quick side note, talking fast, Twinkle Toes, Tampon Timmy Waltz isn't too popular among Democrats either. That's funny. I actually have been under the impression that J.D. Vance is doing very well. Vice presidential candidates rarely have an impact on presidential elections. It really is all about the president. But the vice president can affect flavor, mood, attitude, energy to a smaller degree. Like when Dan Quayle running with George H.W. Bush, right? He couldn't spell potato. That was kind of a black eye, kind of a stupid thing. And it really was ridiculous. But, right, Twinkle Toes Timmy Walls was supposed to give some weight to Kamala. Well, okay, we've got our first person of color woman running for president. And then you've got some old white dumbass, right? Twinkle Toes. That was supposed to balance the ticket. Well, it's not working. Kamala's losing it with young people. Children know she's a liar. College kids are rejecting her. Young adults in their 20s, they're living life. They're living life, and they're realizing how hard it is. And what gets me is, hey, kids, it's hard for everybody. I've spent the last couple of days at work talking with some successful people, just asking them, and I can't give details because they were private conversations, not to be disclosed. But they started life in very difficult circumstances. They worked their asses off for 15, 20, 25 years before they got a taste of success. And finally, in their late 40s or early 50s, they start becoming successful, very successful, to where they can think about retirement. It doesn't happen overnight. Not everyone gets to be Sam Bankman-Fried and get billions of dollars and go have orgies with really nasty little girls in the Bahamas. That's not for everybody. Everyone else gets to work their ass off. And some of us get to make a fortune in their 30s and 40s and then give it all up in divorce. Anyways, back to Uman's comments. Yes, the mainstream media would love to say J.D. Vance is, well, the people aren't that excited. Well, no, they're concerned about Trump. They're thinking about Trump. What's going to happen from the president's death? Not will the backup quarterback do well. I think everyone is satisfied J.D. Vance is a good backup quarterback. He'll be a fine vice president. He can get into training to be the president in 4 years. But I don't think he'll be able to say, hey, I had nothing to do with nothing. It's all Biden's fault. Like in 2028, can you imagine people blaming Kamala Harris still if nothing gets fixed? But I will give you this. It's going to be difficult no matter what. We're not going to get through SHTF. It's not going to be a cakewalk. It won't be easy. It's going to be rough. Rough. Now, speaking of polls and popularity plummeting, Uman, over at MSNBC, you know, MS stands for Microsoft, Bill Gates. He bought his own fucking network and got NBC to, wow, we really need MSNBC, CNBC, regular NBC, FNBC, right? Anyways, Andrea Mitchell, that name has been around for way too many decades. She says that the reason Kamala Harris is not polling well is because of, wait for it, misogyny. That is to say, mostly men and even some women, they don't like her because she's a woman. I can't think of anything more ridiculous than that. It's not that she's a woman, it's just that she's fucking retarded, Andrea. Listen, Andrea Mitchell. Kamala is a dunderhead. She's stupid, she's slow, and she's a massive, massive liar. Just ask the nearest kindergartner. They'll tell you. She is a Marxist, a communist, fascist piece of shit. It's communism for me and you on the street level and fascism for the people at the top. They've got their model. The most successful model on the planet right now for socialist government is China. Communist-controlled government and fascist-controlled economy. Look out. That's their plan. But that's what Kamala is. She is a social fascist. She is completely retarded. She is an authoritarian whore that wants us thrown in prison, re-educated, or just killed. I don't think that's stretch. I really don't. I know it's controversial to say, but I don't care. They don't get a pass anymore. First Amendment, free speech, they don't get a pass because they politicized everything. I can criticize the military, I can criticize media, I can criticize the government for sure, because it's all politicized. Meaning it's all about what the Democrats want. Anyways, Mr. Uman, thank you for bringing that up. Wonderful subject to roll through. And Andrea Mitchell is an idiot. Just a blithering mainstream media idiot. It's not that she's a woman or that Hillary's a woman. It's just they are awful fucking people. Awful. Awful people. Mr. Uman, who wants to step up? Where are we going to roll with this? We got name redacted, who says, John, you asked why is A so important to young women? Oh, thank you for the code. You asked why abortion is so important to young women. It's the bombardment of managed reality. Managed reality from what we call the media and their public school education and indoctrination. Yes, you bet. Now, here's the deal. I mean, it's literally when I was a kid, a teenager, even grade school. I remember when we learned the Constitution, every bit of it, front to back, including the amendments, the Bill of Rights. We had to memorize it all. We had to take tests and prove we understood it to graduate and move on. And I remember the teacher. And I try and maintain a respectful concept of this teacher. But he kept telling us the Second Amendment didn't matter, and then it didn't say what it said, and that it wasn't necessary. And I sat there and I said, well, that's what the Constitution says. Right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There's a reason for it. And here we are, 40 years later, and I was right. 12-year-old John was right, and that teacher was wrong. And every other teacher was wrong. The Second Amendment is necessary. But what are they teaching kids? You need to have abortion. You need to vote for Democrats. Communism is good. Managed reality. People that identify as cats and dogs, going to school, They're putting sandboxes in school so they can go shit in it. Talk about managed reality. You know what? If they are cats and dogs or any other animal, they should not be in school. Animals don't belong in school. Period. There's no room in schools for dogs and cats. If that's the fact, if that's the way it is, I think that straight children or intelligent children should bring their dog to school. They should. In fact, man, I hope this starts happening. The kids across the nation start bringing cats and dogs to school. Probably wouldn't work so well with cats, but dogs, just to make the fucking point. The teacher says, "What's that doing there?" I go, "It's a dog." Well, dogs aren't allowed in school. Well, then you tell Jimmy, the dog in the back there, to go the fuck home then. Right? Just this managed reality, this fantasy land that these people live in, while they destroy this country and make you pay for it. It is unconscionable. It's off the fucking hook. We need Trump. We need reality, folks. I'll take SHTF, Mad Max, over where they're taking us. Oh, it's not going to get better. Okay. Also, folks, by the never mind. I'm going to skip it. Ooh, man, what do you got? What's up? What's happening out there? Hong Kong has imprisoned a journalist for sedition. That means speaking and thinking against the government. This journalist published articles ruled that could sow hatred of the Hong Kong government and authorities during the 2019 anti-government protests. Does anyone remember that? The Hong Kong anti-government protests. Well, England turned Hong Kong loose. It was a British territory or commonwealth, if you will. It was a colony, Hong Kong was, that was kept apart from China. Now it was given back to China. The communists came in and fucked it all up. The journalists fought, people fought for freedom. But what stopped all of our attention on that? Cerveza bug. So in 2020, we stopped thinking about Hong Kong. But the government, they kept doing what they do, and that's taking control, taking people's lives, their wealth, and ruining shit. And yeah, you bet they're going to imprison a journalist, because that's what they do. For sedition, for speaking out against the government. And Man is saying that, well, hatred of government and the prosecution for it is coming. And by the way, my lights just flickered here in the old bunkaroo. I don't know if you guys saw that. A couple of them did. Not all of them, just a couple. All righty. Hurricane, she's a-coming. So I'm going to close this show down and go find out what the hell that was all about. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. God bless America. Semper Fi.